a microphone.
What's tainted? What's tainted in the vibe? Fantasy football, I saw on the way. Train your Sundays, every single play. Love is strong, don't dilly dally.
What's up? Welcome back to another episode of What's Taintin' in the Valley. It's Chuck. We took a week off. We're back for week 6. I'm going to go over everything. I apologize for the week off. I know the streets wanted the pod. I wanted the pod. There's just a lot going on. Sick daughter, just nightmarish week. It was tough. Vibes weren't there. Didn't do the pod. Let it sit, which is good because then we had something else to look forward to. I was yearning to pod for like 2 weeks. So now I get the chance to do it. We had an awesome 2-week break. Awesome week of football last week. A lot of good stuff going on. A couple really tight matches too. We're gonna bring in a guest like we normally do. We're gonna talk some league, talk some ball. We're gonna go over all of it. So just before we get into anything, I was just looking at our match 6 or matches from last week. A lot of interesting stuff going on. Let me bring my screen up here. I mean, what a week, right? We had some very competitive matches, very close matches across the board. Some of the scores of these are not indicative for how close the game was at certain points, or the week matches were. I mean, just jumping off the top, Squat and I, and we were talking about this on the side, going back and forth as Sunday was progressing into Monday night, because our match was a Monday night showdown, classic, literally mano a mano, the best you're gonna get. And we started this. We went into Monday night. I think I was trailing him by 8 points. I had Jaden Daniels going, and he had Bill and Matt Prater. So he was a little favored in the projections, but I mean, projections don't really mean anything. I don't care what anybody says. The only time projections matter is when it's like 90%. But I'll never trust the projections. Men lie. Projections lie. Numbers don't. And I guess some women lie. But the projections definitely lie. I contradicted myself heavily there. Whatever. I was trying to do something and I didn't. Either way, awesome week. Squat would have pulled it out, which is really funny if he played Drake May. But he's just not a fan of his team. You know, he moved to Chicago. He's just not a Patriot guy anymore, you know. Drake May put up numbers though. 33. I don't blame him for not starting him. I mean, he's actually put up some pretty decent numbers. I don't blame him for not starting him, especially when you have Jordan Love against the Bengals. Like, that's a matchup that generally you want to see, except, you know, Jordan Love's missing some weapons. It's the Packers are kind of packing. You know, it's hit or miss. If he started Drake May, he would have won, and the only reason he would have won is because of this one fumble lost late in this is like in the fourth quarter, second to last drive or whatever that was. Unbelievable stuff. He would have passed me, and he would have won by 0.8 of a point, I think, is what the math came out to. Pretty wild stuff. That's indicative of Squat's season. I have some advanced metrics that I kind of wanted to go over. I don't know if I'm going to be able to bring them up here or on the app. Really stupid that the app has like better information. I'll break it down for you though. Squat, Jimmy, has 743 points for, right? I have 855, which is great. It's cool. It's awesome. But if you look at his roster, his team, he actually has the highest points for, like, the perfect scores, I guess you can say. His like perfect number is like 917, and I think mine is like 915, and we were the top 2 in the league. So Jimmy sitting in 5th place with a mediocre points for actually has a really good team. He just hasn't been a good manager, and he knows that. I don't have to tell him that. Nobody on the pod has. You don't have to tell him that. He knows that he's being held back His team's being held back by him, but he's also a good enough manager to recognize that, and he's made some trades to kind of, you know, the kiss method, keep it simple, stupid. That's the Jimmy mentality right now, and I think the last couple weeks we've seen it. Alex was on the pod, put the fraud watch on him heavily, ripped him to shreds for going back to back 70-point weeks, and he's been nothing but hot fire since then. Yeah, I beat him, but I very much could have lost. Could have lost by 7/10 of a point if he just made one player change. And even without doing that, it was still a really close match. You score 130 something points, like you expect to win, you know, or at least have a better shot at winning. But sometimes it doesn't work out that way, especially when you're playing me. Um, the Zach Alex game was super close. Uh, this was an awesome one. Kind of following this along as the Sunday went on. I don't know. Did this one go into Monday night? Yeah, the Drake London game. The butterfly effect. Drake London is originally he's a notorious tank guy. Went to Jimmy, went to Zach, and passed around a little bit. But I'm a Drake London guy, so I love to see him succeed. And he beat up on Alex, and that's what happens when you're a points against merchant like Alex is. That's sometimes how the cookie crumbles. Billy getting his first win. Love it. How about it? On the backs of his dogs, he went out and he got Achan, showed up. Bijan Robinson showed up. Kendrick Bourne. Who's Kendrick Bourne? But Billy puts him in and it works. Low week from Stephon Diggs, especially with the Drake May, how well he did. I think Stephon Diggs is going to do fine. Not really worried about that. Low key, got a questionable on him. Wandale Robinson, Jackson Dart. Wandale Robinson got a little connection going on. Definitely cool. So Billy's got himself nice little team here. Bench raises some questions again, but who cares, man? You're here, you play to win the game. Billy's doing that. He won his first game with 150 points too. He's played a couple good weeks. He's put up some points. He just happened to lose a heartbreaker last week, and now he's going back into it. This standings are close. 1-5 is meaningless when you're basically you're only 2 games back of 6. You get a couple weeks together, you get a couple wins, maybe you're in the conversation. Kyle versus Sean. Sean is just a buzzsaw, man. Unstoppable machine. Kyle just ran into it this week. He ran into me last week. I dropped $1.75 on him. So Kyle's kind of low key going through it a little bit. His team is in low key shambles. Off week for Mondo. Again, S tier team. I think he just had a bad week. Joe had a good week. Just the way it works out. So yeah, this was a awesome week of fantasy. I think when we look at these standings, there's just so much going on and so much mobility and so much movement. You know, this whole 2-4 to 4-2 clusterfuck is just out of control. Like even Sean at 5-1 isn't like particularly safe. I think Sean has maybe one of the better teams in the league, maybe the best team in the league, to be honest. This is insane. I was a little worried at first when we started the season that we weren't going to have as much parity as we normally have, because I think that's what makes this league so great, is that up until the last week of the season, you have so many different playoff scenarios where you can have somebody in 9 with a chance to sneak into that last playoff spot. I really want to, I was nervous we weren't going to have it. Happy that we are getting it back potentially. We'll see. But yeah, somebody's got to knock Sean down a few pegs. He's just on a roll. I don't even know who Sean's playing this week. Alex. Sean doesn't put up low points again, so I don't see Alex winning. But we're going to bring in our guest now. Welcome. Can you hear me?
There we go. Now I can hear. What's going on?
Here we go. Now here's a guy who started this season red hot. Couldn't be stopped. Little bit of a slide. I want to welcome everybody. Welcome Chris to the pod. New Chris. Welcome. Thank you for hopping on. So yeah, I mean, we're going to get into the obvious. We'll get there. But first I want to talk about, what is this? Is this your 3rd year in the league now?
I almost think it's like the 5th year, Chuck.
Is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe fourth, fifth. But because you now are no longer the new guy in the league. You're a new Chris, but you are not the new guy. That is now Jimmy. Jimmy's taken over that role. So what are you're in a bunch of fantasy leagues, and something I wanted to ask, because I've had a couple other people on here who they're not in many other leagues, but I know you're a seasoned fantasy veteran. What are your thoughts on the league? What do you like about this league that's maybe different than some of the others? What do you like about some of your other leagues that we don't have that we can potentially improve? So just wanted to ask you that.
So my favorite part about this league is the live in-person draft. That's my dream to do that with any other league, but all my friends and everyone else, are different states or different towns far away. We can never pick a date where everyone can be in the same room together, and I think that's my favorite.
Love that. Yeah, that's it's a different dynamic. I've drafted in a bunch of different leagues where it's just over, just online.
It's not the
And
same. It's not the
it's
same.
not the same, especially when you get into the auction element. It really changes everything. It's like a
You're,
snake draft in person is fun, but an auction draft in person is just you can't go back. It's like crack.
you're sitting
So
next to the guy and you're clicking 1 second to go, auction for one more dollar, and you just keep going back and forth.
yeah, there's the pressure is on. You don't really have a
Hmm.
chance to think. You can't sit there on other tabs or sitting there on your phone looking at other stuff. Like you're locked into the moment, and that's definitely
Hmm.
my probably my favorite part as well, or one of my favorite parts. But what would you change, if anything? Is there something that you don't like?
I re- I would just for the draft if we can get a live auctioneer,
Okay.
and then we can have it really kind of go back and forth. I mean, I guess that would make it maybe more complicated, but also at the same time, we had little, put your hands up for a bid or something like that. Um, but for the league style, there's nothing. It's all basic rules. I wouldn't change anything.
Yeah, I agree. I would love to figure out how to do a real auctioneer. I feel like we live in the Hudson Valley and they have there's a lot of like cattle auctions and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like there's no reason to believe we can't throw somebody like $200 and say here,
yeah,
spend 4 hours with us and and
yeah.
and do this draft, probably
I
be easy
mean,
for them.
why can't we maybe go? We can go maybe like Atlantic City for a night of drafting or Monticello Casino. I think that would be just so sick.
I You don't have to sell me on that. I think that would be awesome. I just think it gets complicated with nine other guys trying to
I know.
coordinate that stuff. Like if
We
somebody decides that they want to be rich and like fund it, I think it would be really cool. And then we have the fact that Jimmy lives in Chicago
It's a little a
area.
bit of an issue.
Little bit of an issue.
A little
I
bit of
mean,
an
I would
issue.
love to get him in person for a draft. I know that he wants to do it. Hopefully next year we can try and set that up if he wants to come out and either visit us,
Yeah.
or I don't know if he's got family out here. We'll have to ask him. But it would be cool to coordinate that in some way. I know we've also kicked around the idea of expanding,
Wow.
bringing in two other
That's big.
franchises, going to 12 team league, which I am all for. I think that it would be fun to it changes up the dynamic a bit. You're going 12 teams, auction especially. I'm in a 12-man auction league. The values are way different. The way you have
Yep.
to structure your teams is way different.
Yep.
Um, but I think it'll juice the pot a bit and it'll create a little bit more, maybe if I can screw around with the playoff structure a little bit, maybe get like a wild card situation going,
Love it.
maybe like a 1 week playoff potentially to get two teams in the mix and come up with something fun and interesting to maybe get more people involved. I think that would be ultimately.
I mean, the innovation in this league is just we picked the right commissioner here. This is clear. This is clear.
Thank you, thank you,
This
thank
is
you,
my
thank you.
only 10-man league. I got a 14, I got a 12. We have the 18-man chopped league.
Yeah.
So
Rest in
every
peace to
league's
me.
yeah, that was a good run. You had a good run. You just didn't want to start the wide receiver, make it more interesting. This is a smart play.
I completely. I was like, this weekend was. I was so chalked.
Yeah,
Eleanor had
yeah.
was sick. It was just a nightmare. And I was reading that he was, no news, no news, no news. And
Hmm.
then I think it was 50 minutes before game time. They ruled him out. And I was like, I looked immediately at 106. I looked and they kicked off and I couldn't make the change. I banged my head against the wall
Yeah,
because
it happened to me 2 weeks ago. It was the 9:30 a.m. London
Yep.
game, I think, and then like the same night the Yankees were playing, I didn't even know football was on, and I missed the guide. I got lucky. I got lucky.
Well, I saved Mondo. Mondo could stay
Yeah.
because of
Yep.
me, and he didn't start a quarterback, which is arguably way
Yeah.
worse than
Yeah.
your bottom wide receiver.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the guillotine league is fun. But what were you saying? I think I cut you off. You were saying something. You're in an 8, 14,
Oh yeah,
18.
18, 14, 12, and a 10, I think. So I like the 10 too, but they're all different structures, all different little bit of strategy. Obviously the 10-man rosters are a little stronger, but sometimes that makes it harder because you have more options. You choose the wrong guy to start every week, or you pick up the wrong guy on the waivers, or I just spend my budget every week on the wrong guys.
And you got to drop good people too. That's the shitty
That's
part.
that's the really shitty part. Yep.
Like I had to drop Bill last week. Like I didn't
Yep.
want to, but
Yep.
I needed a tight end, and I didn't want to
Yep.
run the risk of if I was 5-0, I would have just said screw it. I'm going to leave Bill, not start the tight end. If I take an L, I'll take an L, and whatever. I'm still in first place, sitting at 2-4 or
Oof.
whatever I was, or whatever it was. I needed to ensure a win, so I had to just drop Bill. Sucks. Jimmy picked him up, but ended up saving my week anyway because he picked him up or traded him to him and started, and he didn't do well. So, yeah, I want to bring up. Let's get going into some of the league stuff.
Yeah, let's go. Bring it up.
Can you see my screen? Yeah. So this is what we want to talk about right down here. Obviously, the hot start. You were what 3-0 at one point, I think.
I guess
Alex
I did.
Montier.
Wow, three straight losses. Holy cow!
3 straight losses. You were eviscerated a couple times on this pod by a
I
couple
know.
different people. I even myself, admittedly, might have rang the fraud bell. Alex was slamming the button. I think even Billy at one point was saying maybe fraudulent.
Yeah.
What do you think about your team? Do you think it's fraudulent, or do you think that you might have just had a few bad weeks and maybe gotten lucky with the Alex strategy of a points against merchant, and your team's going to pick it up in the back half of the season?
Honestly, I couldn't believe you guys let me draft these three receivers that I have. I love my roster. Everyone's performing okay. Last week, Billy just crushed me. There's nothing I can do. But my guys are just there. Like Swift had a great night the other night. Thomas is going to turn it around. St. Brown is St. Brown. I start the wrong tight end every week, so maybe this week's the right one. Kenneth Walker's does really well, and they take him out at the goal line, and it just happens every week. But
So
now
fun statistic about that. So Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet have roughly the same amount of carries.
yeah,
I think Kenneth Walker has 3 times as many yards
yeah, he does great. He's
on
a
the
great
same
running
amount
back.
of carries, which is bananas.
But then they take him out of the goal line, just leave him in. He's doing clearly great. The statistics show it. I really like my roster. I like all the players. I don't know who else I would have drafted over them. I got my guys. Mayfield's, I think, a top 5 quarterback.
100% dog.
They just got to do their thing now. I think it's just time. I think Brian Thomas breaks out of his shell and kind of carries me.
Well, Jacksonville looked good when they played. When they played the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I think that team might be turning a little bit of a corner. They kind of found an identity a little bit. Trevor Lawrence is
Yep.
still a weirdo, but he
Yep.
might have had it. He might have figured it out. So, no,
That makes
on paper, because I've broken this down. Like, you don't have a bad team on paper. Like, if you just snapshot this team without really even knowing what the statistics are, you think it's an awesome team. You think this is a potentially a top 3, top 4 team without question. And the fact that it's, obviously you're an even 500, 3-3. You are still in the playoff cut line.
yeah.
It's just you're not performing well.
I just picked up Kincaid too. That was a big pickup, but of course he was out last week. But
Yep.
he's been, I think, a top 5 tight end as well for the year. So I'm excited
He's
to get him back.
7, number
Oh,
7
7.
tight end
Okay.
on the year.
But
Yeah,
missing
still,
last
I
week.
mean,
Yeah.
He's fine. Like, these are
So
great numbers. He gets touchdowns. He's a huge red zone target. So
that's what we're looking
and
for.
like weird amount of yards after the catch too. I don't know the statistics on it, but I just feel like whenever I watch him, he's always getting a lot of yards after catch.
And I always look at the targets. Do they even have a chance to to have a catch. So they're looking at him, they're throwing to him. I have a big matchup with Mondo this week, I think. So I'm looking to take down the number one. Easy win, I think.
Wow, calling your shot
Yeah,
against
I really think his
Mondo.
team.
What
I think
the
his team is
widely
fraudulent.
consented? Wow. Okay.
Let's bring it up. I just want to break it down. I don't even know who's on his team.
I'll bring it up. Let's bring it up. Um, we have so I have the matchup up. Quarterback Sam Darnold,
Oh,
running back Jordan Mason, Brees Hall, Puka Nakua, Michael Pittman, Trey McBride, Rome Madunze, Harrison Butker, and he is starting the Indianapolis
yeah,
defense.
like there's no. My team is 10 times better on paper. Does Pookie playing or is he out?
He's questionable. I think they were
Okay,
saying that he was tracking the play. Rams whole
I think he should probably
seems
just bench
likely
him.
they're gonna hold the star whiteout out of the game.
Yeah, he should probably just bench him now because I don't want any excuses that he didn't play him. So might as well just make a sub right now.
Well, who's he
That
gonna
way,
start in that spot? Hollywood Brown, I guess.
he's been doing pretty good actually, kind of coming back
I
from.
know I was using him in the
It's like
Dr.
sneaky.
Guillotine League. Yeah, but he's so hit or miss.
Yeah, right,
And
right.
but and he had two touchdowns, only had 20 points. For a wide
Yeah, that's all he
receiver,
had.
you get two
Yeah,
touchdowns, you kind of expect them to be breaking that 25 to 30 point threshold. Um, and Rasheed Rice is back.
yeah,
So
that changes
his
everything.
target share is going to go down a lot. So
So I don't
I
even know
don't
how he's 4-2. It's like crazy.
yeah, I don't hate the bell ring because he might actually just be fraudulent. But yeah, we're going to when we go into what we're going to do right now actually, we're going to bounce out of this. And I love you defending yourself there. I think that was a great defense of your team, of your guys. You had their back. And honestly, that might be the fire that they need. That might be the fire. And this is where your push comes in.
Yeah,
So
they need it. Maybe they just need a little kick in the ass, and we'll get going this week.
we're gonna run a tier list. I want you to rank the teams. Current this is gonna be the current power rankings on a tier list.
All right,
S
let me
tier
look. Let me look
is
at
the
my phone
best.
too.
Yeah. Good, not a bad idea. Have the teams up, have the league up.
All
So you
right.
have S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, and then the gutter, which is D
Okay.
tier.
Okay.
Um, let's start with. I'm not going to start with you. Let's start with Mondo. We just talked about him.
Oh, he's in second technically now. Okay, so let's see. Let's. I mean, is it a bad team? No, I just don't think he has any. Like, who's he has no studs. I mean, does CD Lamb come back this week? I guess that's his stud.
No,
I put him. I put him right there in the. Give him a B. Give him a B.
B,
I
low
think it's
B maybe.
fair. The record shows it. He's making points, but
Okay,
I think there's people definitely better than him.
okay. Let's go with Kyle.
Now here's a guy that always drafts a good team.
It's crazy.
Um,
It doesn't make
wow.
sense.
How do we let him get? I didn't even know Jonathan Taylor is going to be relevant this year. Meanwhile, the Colts are one of the best teams.
He's carrying me in my other league.
That's crazy. He's got a good roster. Wow. All right, so let's put him right above Mondo. Wait, what's the
A
highest
tier,
there?
S tier is the best. That's like your excellent top tier teams, like
All right, I
your
put him in the S.
juggernauts.
I put him in the S technically. I
Okay,
like these guys,
yeah. Kyle's always has a good team. It's so annoying. I
especially
don't know
Barkley.
how.
Barkley hasn't really done much technically, so I feel like if he gets going, like that's kind of scary.
Yeah, and he what does he? I thought he had somebody else on. Oh yeah, he dropped because he had neighbors. I think.
Oh wow,
That's
that's even
yeah,
crazier. That's crazy.
yeah. I don't know how he
Wow.
got that team. What about Sean? So not
All
to
right, let me
interject,
see.
this is your tier list. Sean is on a wagon. That team is really good. He's in first place, and he's
Hmm.
just been on an absolute tear. 4 game winning streak, and he's been putting up the points to match. No, this is he's not fraudulent with these wins. He's been very ethical in how he's been dismantling these teams.
Yeah, I got McCaffrey in my other league in an auction for like $30 somehow, and he's carrying me in that league. And he's just like 25 points easy every week. And same thing with Gibbs. So when you have those two running backs, I feel like that's definitely going to put you in the and then Patrick Mahomes is the number one quarterback, so that's going to put you in the S tier too.
Yeah.
He might be better than Kyle's team, but they're both right up there, I think, and the record shows it.
Yeah, the record shows it. He's been winning. He's made a couple decent waiver wire moves too. He's
Yeah.
playing. Let's go to Billy. I'm to Billy.
Oh boy, my arch rival Billy.
1-4, right? Or 1-5, whatever his record is.
Yeah, but then he's got
Uh,
these two stud running backs somehow that put up like 70 points versus me
it
last
doesn't
week.
make sense. That's another team. You look
That's
at it on
crazy.
paper and you're like, what the hell? But then you also look, his points against is something I've never seen in my life. His
Yeah.
914 points against through 6 weeks. That's 152 points per week that
Wow.
his opponents are averaging against him.
That's a guy that might make a run for the playoffs, even being 1-5.
That's what I
Just
said. I mean,
just based on that stat alone, there's no way that can continue.
it would be funny if it did, but yeah, there's no way
Yes.
that can
Of course, I had
continue.
to give him his first win. I felt bad. So let's put him at the B range with next to Mondo.
Do you
Um,
think he's better or worse than Mondo?
Actually, I think better. I mean, just by the record, I put him right there because of the record showing. But
Okay,
roster-wise, when you have two stud running backs, that could really just carry you.
I feel you on that. What about Joe? Let's get into Joe. Joe has always got an interesting team. I feel
Joe's,
like Joe always has a good team, and he always finds a way to. Joe has always been historically a regular season superstar, always in the
mm,
top three, always in the mix, high points for, gets to the playoffs and just can't finish the job. This season has been almost the opposite. I feel like he hasn't been performing as well as he normally does. He has a losing record current, or no, he's even. He's 3-3 with a very low points for, 694, so under 700 points for. So he's not having a good season particularly. I don't know if that means that we're just going to get playoff demon time Joe.
mm.
So I don't, again, I don't want to influence your thoughts here. I don't think he has as a great team on paper. Cam
Joe,
Scatabo,
yeah.
ETN, Lad McConkey, Devontae Smith, Sam Laporta, Aaron Rodgers is your quarterback. He has
Oh,
Igbuka
Allen.
on the bench,
Hmm.
and he has Derrick Henry too, and Josh Allen. On paper, again, good team, I guess, when he's full strength. Derrick Henry's been kind of a bust this year, though. Well, compared to what we expect from
Yeah.
him.
So Joe's always strategy. He's the one that always holds his money the whole time, isn't it?
Yes, he
Yeah.
waits to the end.
I mean, though these players at the beginning of the draft, if you look at the beginning of the season, if you look at like Lad was supposed to be, I mean, a top tier wide receiver, kind of not doing anything this year. But then again, Cam Scatterbo not supposed to really be too much. Now he's like a top running back every week.
That was a
But
waiver wire pickup, if I remember correctly.
yeah, like that's just crazy. And I love Mbuka. I try to get him, just didn't work out. But he also has Mike Evans too. I mean, he's got a good roster, but Josh Allen's his quarterback. All right, I put him right in there. I feel like all these teams were so like even with each other, and the record's kind of show that we're all like 3-3. I put him right next to Mondo, to the right of Mondo. So it's like kind of in that order:
Yeah,
Billy,
yeah,
Mondo, and Joe.
yeah. I'm fine with that. What about Alex? Alex has been the most outspoken probably against you in your
Let's just
team.
put him on the bottom. I don't even want to look at the roster, Chuck. Let's just put him at the D, and then I'll look at the roster, I guess.
All right, so we're just gonna put him in the gutter.
Yeah, I mean, he just players. I mean, Dak is stud this year. Genty's kind of turning it around. Josh Jacobs is always a dog. AJ Brown doesn't catch the ball. Keenan Allen's done. Yeah, I think this team is kind of going downhill from here. Right now, he's 3-3. I think he finishes the season. I'll give him one more win. He's going to go like 4-9. I think.
Wow.
Yeah, just to be bold.
Alex also is a two-time champ of this league. Hasn't won in the Taint era. So he's like
Mm,
kind of like the back when we were playing against plumbers and electricians.
yeah,
Before the Taint era when the real skill entered the league.
yeah,
So he's kind of fraudulent double winner too.
yeah. And he really
Um,
like he wears that he won it so long ago, but I don't think he's never won it since I've been in the league. I don't know if it's like a coincidence or not, but yeah, let's just put him right down there.
that's fine. Zach,
All right, let's see.
kind of
Zach's a
fighting back
guy.
from the bottom.
he always got somehow gets screwed. I feel like he had a lot of injuries. Did it have, was that last year or something? I feel like he had a good roster, and then
That
somehow
was last year. Yeah.
some things just go really wrong for him. But Javante's been a stud. Kamara's okay. Chase is just really
We also have to
disappointing.
look at this from a pre-trade and post-trade Zach, because Zach did trade with Jimmy,
Oh, okay, maybe
and
I missed that. Okay,
he traded Bucky Irving for Drake London and Javante Williams. So I think Zach's team improved heavily after that. Especially the timing of the trade couldn't be better because Bucky immediately got hurt.
wait, he traded
Um,
Bucky for Drake London and Javante Williams.
yes,
Wow, and we let that go through.
we did, we did.
Wow. Looking at it, clearly Zach won that trade. Drake London looked like a stud the other night. Penix was hitting him. I don't know how many targets he had. 10
I'm
targets.
a
It seems
Drake
like
London guy. I drafted Drake London first, and I traded him to Jimmy. That was a part of the
okay,
trade that brought Brock Bowers and George Pickens to my team.
okay.
But I wanted to keep London. It just I couldn't. I needed a tight end, and then he traded London away to Zach. So I feel like Zach got London at a discount
Yeah.
because Jimmy traded him his second and third week, 5 points,
hmm
10 points. So he
Yep.
bought Zach bought low, and then it's just Drake. It's been Drake London season. The
I just got
last
London. I just got London in the chopped league for. I spent all my money to try to get him. I feel like he might carry me over to the top.
take good
It's
care of him. He's my guy
Yeah. I
from
mean,
my team, original.
he's a huge guy, stud athlete. I like Goddard a lot. Solid tight end. Gets touchdowns every week. Let's put him at right between Mondo and Joe. Can we do that in the B range? I feel like these teams are all so close.
Yeah, I mean, for the sake of it, if Joe is the bottom of B, let's bump him down to C,
Okay, fair
and then
enough.
we'll figure the rest out. Uh, who else we got? Did we do who we missing? Because this is like doubled up here.
You want to
Uh,
go?
Billy, we do me.
Oh
I
yeah.
forgot. I don't need a podcast buff here. You can lay it on.
Well, let's just look. I try to go by the facts. Uh, this is. I love Chuba Hubbard. I feel like that guy is he coming back finally?
This week.
You're a little banged up here, but honestly, you're right. You have some good guys on the like Marvin Harrison should get going. Rashid Rice might carry you back.
I have
Smith,
depth.
yeah,
Like, there's no
yeah.
Garrett Wilson and Marvin Harrison Jr. are starting on most other teams in this league. I think
Yep.
Judkins, you make a case he's starting on other teams in this league. And I'm averaging like 141 points a week. I have 855 points for this already.
And Jackson Smith is just crazy this year.
Dog,
Um,
so good.
I wish I drafted him in every league. At least I got him in one. Just by the depth alone, and I wouldn't just smoke you up. Let's put you at the A range. Just because of the depth alone, it's a little scary because people get hurt, and that's just the name of the
Yeah,
game.
that is
Even
the name of the
maybe
game.
we just hope you start the wrong guys each week, and that'll be our chance, I guess.
Not going to happen. I have the highest start percentage in the league at 94%, I think.
Unlike Papa Squat,
Unlike Papa Squat.
right?
If you look at actually if you're in the app, there's a pretty interesting. Are you on your phone in the
Yeah,
app? I can't
yep.
I can't do it on this. So if you go to the teams and you go to league, um, and you go and, like, for instance, click, or no, you don't click anybody's name. You see
The
where it says
matchups.
standings and then details. So if you scroll down,
Yeah, yeah.
standings and then
Details.
details,
Yep.
you can look and see your team's points for and then the max points for, which is pretty
Oh,
interesting because that gives you. I touched on this earlier in the pod. This is like advanced analytics stuff. You
this is
can
crazy.
see, yeah, you can see teams like Papa Squat has this. He has the highest maximum points for in the league.
Wow.
So in theory, on paper, he is the best team in the league. He's just not
Right.
starting the right people because he's like 180 points upside down.
Well,
So
I have other friends in Mass too, and I feel like these Mass guys worry so much about the New York teams, and the least thing they worry about is their own team and their own sports, the Patriots and whatever. They always worry about the New York teams. I think that might be distracting him from starting the right guys each week because clearly the data shows it's all about the analytics.
yeah, I said it's not his team. His team
It's
he's
just
being
him.
held back by his manager. And it happens. Sometimes you have great teams that are held back by manager. Look at the Yankees this year. Great team held back by a terrible manager.
And he has no
Um,
more waiver dollars left. He's got 24 waiver dollars left. Um, can't really pick up any too many good guys coming off the waivers for the rest of the year. So that could be a big
well,
factor too.
he traded away
Oh wow.
his waiver money to Alex for, I think is how that works. He traded his waiver money to Alex to pick up Bill
Mm.
Krosky Merritt
So a couple bad
because
moves this year so far.
yeah, a couple questionable Massachusetts decisions, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And here's a guy I never even met him. I don't even know his name. I just see him on the chat on the whatever FaceTime call during the draft. He's got a good war room set up, but we're gonna put him next to Joe, really, just based on all those facts.
I like that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. So this is the whole league then.
He's been trying to trade me Tyler Warren for the whole beginning of the season, um, for like Brian Thomas. I'm really big Brian Thomas guy, so I'm trying to hold on to him. But Warren's been killing it every week, which is just surprising coming into the year. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, if you like your team, you like your team. I don't like when people get offended when they don't want to trade somebody. You know,
Yeah, yep.
like I'm in another league where like this guy wants to trade with me, and he's like offended that I don't want to trade with him. It's
Nothing
not
personal.
anything to do.
Nothing.
It's not personal. I like my team, and I
Yeah,
don't think my team is going to get better by making the trade. Like I've
yep.
been trying full transparency. It doesn't matter now because I don't think he's going to get rid of him. I've been trying to get Bijan Robinson from Billy since week 0, and he has not wanted to trade. And I send him a new trade every week that is just it gets dumber and dumber and dumber, like in his favor. He just doesn't want to do it. I don't get offended. Bijan is a guy he wants to keep. That's
And that's
fine.
a hard guy to get. Like you're not getting the top guys. It's unless you're giving away a big package or something.
I was willing to give him at the time. I think I was giving him Drake London, um, Tet McMillan,
Hmm.
Kyron Williams. It was a stupid package because I had the depth and
Yeah,
Marvin Harrison Jr.
yeah,
for Bijan Robinson. I wanted to do like a 4-for-1 and just give him because he needed the depth, but he didn't want to do it. And now his
yeah.
team's coming around, so it doesn't matter. All
All
right,
right.
last but certainly not least, where do you put your team?
Like I said, I like my roster. I think I'm strong at every position if the right guys get going. Once you got to make the playoffs, and then anything can happen. I got lucky last year. You make the playoffs, and some guys had some bad weeks, and I sneak to the championship. I'm going to be confident in my guys. Put my team right below yours in the A range. Um, if they just keep doing their thing, I think it's going to all play out well for me.
I love that. I think it's an excellent tier list. I think it's a lot of balance. And I think you have. I don't think that's far off the standings, to be honest. Right?
Yeah, I
Looking
mean,
at going back and
everyone's close. We're close in the
everybody's
standings.
close. I mean, I think you have a couple teams that are higher up than the standings reflect, i.e., Billy. I think you have teams that are
Yeah,
lower than the standings, like Alex.
yeah,
But I think you made really good cases for why those teams are where they are.
yeah. Just on the
So
track record of Alex, I think his team is going downhill. So I wish him the best of luck, though. But we'll just have to see what happens.
love that. I mean, that's really it. Who do you, I asked this to everybody? Who do you think's going to win? Who do you predict is winning it all?
Oh, the whole league,
Holy,
besides myself, I guess.
you could say yourself if you genuinely believe that.
I mean, I think my roster's well enough put together to do that. Is it going to happen? I don't know. I really like. Was it Sean's roster?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean's roster. That's what Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that team is pretty scary. Who else has he got? Looking back now.
Patrick Mahomes, Jameer Gibbs, Christian
Yeah,
McCaffrey,
just
Xavier
with
Worthy, Olave, especially if Olave ends up getting a trade. Big.
that's a huge thing. Those top three guys can easily put up 100 points total. Just those three,
Hmm.
and if the other guys just chipping a little bit, it'd be hard to beat. So that's what I'm going with.
Love that. Thank you for hopping on the pod. It was a pleasure having you.
No
Uh,
problem.
Good luck the rest of the season, and I'll see you on the other side. Thanks for
All right,
joining.
no problem. Take care.
Later. Just like that, we had our guy, new Chris. Thank you for hopping on the pod. Let's hop into our weekly projections and wrap it up. All right. First matchup of the week. It's me versus Billy. I feel like I have to take myself. I know Billy's a wagon. I want Billy to do well. I want to see. I, Nobody loves an underdog story more than your boy. But I also have to be realistic that I'm very confident in my team right now. I think my team is a little bit of a wagon. Think the guys, they're showing up every week. They want to play for me. They enjoy it. They don't do it for the money. They don't do it for the status. They don't do it for the trophies. They do it for the love of the game. And that's what I like. And they know they want to carry me to the promised land. So I'm going to pick myself. But I think Billy's going to put up some points. I think Billy's going to put up like 132. I just think I'm going to do like 141. Zach versus Squat. Tough week. Tough one to pick, too. Kamara's questionable. I don't know if he's going to go. I don't know who Squat's going to play at quarterback. He has Drake May. He might go back to Jordan Love. You never know. I think Drake May is like, he's a homer too. Patriots guy. So probably going to start Drake May. I think Squat's going to win. I think Squat's team is good. I think he's done enough. I think the Rico Dowdle effect is awesome. Depends if we get Chuba Hubbard and he, who knows how that dynamic's going to play. But though I think Rico Dowdle has played himself into a starting spot. I was offered Rico Dowdle by Squat. I turned that trade down. We're going to see if that bites me in the ass or not because I believed in Chuba Hubbard. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to pick Squat. I'm going to take him by like 15 points. I think Squat's going to put up like a $1.29. I think Zach's going to do like a $1.14. I think Zach's going to I don't like the matchup of some of his players this week. I don't think they're going to do particularly good. New Chris versus Mondo. You heard it. Chris called the shot. He called out Mondo to his face, called him a fraud, told him he sucked. Like, really, really went after him. Like, and Chris has been criticized on this pod, but he laid in the Mondo. And normally, full transparency, circle of trust, I would have probably picked Mondo to win this game. Chris is inspiring his guys so much. He has Baker Mayfield, and he has the Baker mentality, where it's just do what it takes, run through a wall, talk shit. That's a guy you want to play for. And I think his team is going to get up, and I think they're going to play for him. He explained exactly why he thinks he's going to win. Telegraphed it. I think Chris puts up his 140 this week. I think we're going to see a 140 from Chris. I think that would be his season high. I don't remember. I think that's what we're going to get from him. I think Mondo's going to have a good week too. Maybe 125, something like that. Depends on the Puka. Depends on Puka. I think I like Chris got me fired up, and I think I have to ride the train and go after it. I missed an opportunity to ask him about his team name too. I'm sorry, Jimmy. Thought about it after the fact. I have it written down too. I just didn't. Joe versus Kyle. Joe's team is on life support, low key, this week. Ibuka, if he's hurt. Mike Evans is not, he's got a bunch of really good guys that aren't, two guys on bye. Derrick Henry and Josh Allen on a bye. If Joe sneaks this out, it would be a steal. He'd be stealing the win from Kyle. I don't know if Kyle's team is particularly great. He's got a couple of really good players. If they show up, I don't see why he doesn't win. I see him winning in a pretty 20-point type of game, like a 128 to 108 type deal. Sean versus Alex. Chris didn't mix any words when talking about Alex. I was trying to think who he talked shit about both these guys. Guy's crazy. He's just going after everybody. Put Alex in the gutter. Didn't even look at his team. Just put him straight in the gutter. He got me fired up. And I think Sean's team is a true S tier team. I think he has the best team in the league. I think he's got the most consistent team in the league. Fantasy is a game of consistency. I think Sean's team is the most consistent. I think his team is going to be there in the mix more weeks than they're not. And I think for that reason, I got to give him the edge over Alex. And the podcast effects of Chris just talking so much shit to Alex was great, putting him straight in the gutter. It's motivation, though. Bulletin board material. Things you love to see. We're going on 7 weeks into the season. I want to see the fire, tight standings. I love this. This is what we live for. It's why we play the game, why we show up every week, why we put our hard-earned money into this, hard-earned money, put our time into this, sit there on Twitter and Instagram and Fantasy Pros and ESPN.com, whatever source you use for this information to figure out who you can pick up off the waivers to improve your team. Who should you start over another person? That's why we play the game. Then you talk shit to the people you're playing against, which is always fun. And you love it. Chris's team isn't particularly good. He's talking shit while he's down. Like it was a famous, what was it, Michael Jordan? That quote was it Michael Jordan, right? Where he's swinging the bat and he's got the cigar in his mouth. He goes, anybody could talk shit while they're up, and says it takes a real man to talk shit when they're down, something like that. So I love that. Overall, excellent pod. I haven't been sharing my screen this whole time, have I? I don't remember. Overall, excellent pod. Thank New Chris for coming on. Thank everybody for rocking with me, even though I took the week off. A lot of shit going on. So I think it was for the best. I think we got a good one coming out here, and I look forward to seeing everybody next week. Thank you. I'll see you on the other side. Peace.